All right, here we go. So, I'm Isaac. I think this is going to be the first video that I upload that's like this. The reason I'm making this video at all is because it's a basic vlog, I guess, is what they're called, on YouTube that I want to put up. And one of the main reasons I want to make this is because I'm starting to get into Cubase music stuff, and I want to see if I can get better at it. But also, it's one of those things that you have an opportunity to do now for free, which is just make a video diary, kind of, and you can look at it in 20 or 30 years when I'm slipping away into Alzheimer's or whatever. I can look back and say, oh, look, I used to be sane, so that's neat. And also, I have a kid now. Hi, Layden, if you're watching this. Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what your dad was like when you were 7 versus what he's like when you're, 17 or 27, maybe. So I'll record these every once in a while. I'm going to try to keep them pretty short because it gets real boring just watching somebody ramble for an extended period of time. It is, let's see, April 12th. I've been working from home for a couple months because of the COVID-19 spread of, I don't know, the spread of COVID-19, I guess is what I meant to say. And I hope it'll be done soon, I guess, like everybody else. I don't really care if I stay at home a lot, and honestly, it's given me a lot of time to work on music. It's changed my life very little, other than the fact that I don't get to go over and see Layden very often. I'm about to head over there, actually, so that'll be fun. But yeah, for now, to the actual meat of the video, the year is 2020 also. Maybe this will be way later. Anyway, on to the actual showing of what I did for this song. I re-recorded an old song that I had another band with, and I'll just go through like the basic things that I did that probably don't make any sense in Cubase, and now that I've done this longer, hopefully I'm better at it if I'm looking at this in like a year. I picked End because I asked Leanne actually which song was most memorable of ours, and this song is pretty rough. I realized all the lyrics to all my songs are kind of downer lyrics. They're very aggressive and angsty, and not really what I would write now if I was going to write anything. Oh yeah, kind of jumping back to the intro part, I guess. I should really show what my setup is like now in my room. I will do that in another video. This one, I'm just going to jump into this. So yeah, here's a sample. I hope this comes through. I spent like an hour this morning fighting audio issues trying to get this to record correctly. In Voice Meter, if you're using that, make sure that you pick this WDM one, not the MME output, because if you pick the MME one, it's at a different sample rate, and then everything sounds slow. And, well, it slows everything down by like 50%. So anyway, here's a bit of a sample of this, I guess. All right, I'm back. So what I found out from the last recording is that I wasn't actually recording anything out of Cubase, which kind of ruined that entire take. A thing that I'm learning quickly on this about making any kind of YouTube videos, there needs to be a bare minimum amount of editing, because I can chop off the first part of that other video and use it, but all the parts where I'm going through what I did with the song don't make any sense if you can't hear anything. So I'm going to try to reproduce those. This is one of those things where maybe I should wait a while before I do it. I'm not angry that I lost the audio there. It's mostly just making sure that I hit all the main points again. I think I remember what I talked about a lot last time. The main thing is I don't know how to mix voices. I don't know how to mix vocal audio. I don't know how to mix anything really other than volume levels. Like I can kind of tell if I can hear everything. So I'm learning all this from scratch, and vocals in particular are super tricky because like if they're flat into your headset, they're super annoying, I guess is a good way to say it. So let's see. Well, hopefully, let's see if this is working at all here.
I can't feel a thing, my legs won't work as I crawl away from the car wreck.
All right, so hopefully that's recording. Let's take a look at this first vocal track because I have no idea what I'm doing with vocals. What I threw on it is just an EQ and a compressor. I don't know how to set them. The EQ looks like this. And I don't know if that's right. I pulled, well, I mean, here. I'll play both. I'll play it with and without it in solo mode. And then the compressor, I don't even know if this is a good compressor. This is what it looks like. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with vocals. I don't really know how to use compressors. I have to learn how to do that. I really need to take some kind of audio engineering course if I'm going to keep doing this. But I'm watching a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and they slowly introduce, or I'm slowly grasping things that I'm supposed to do. Like, for instance, using 2 compressors in a row, parallel compression or something. I don't know what it's called. The first one's supposed to have a low attack. I don't know. A bunch of random stuff that I heard online. I'm continuing to watch online videos so I can learn stuff. But anyway, without any, well, here, let's see.
People in an ambulance come pick me up after half an hour on the pavement, reflecting on my life, wondering.
So mostly that just sounds like it's louder. I don't know. I'm sure there's supposed to be more to it than that. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, another thing that I mentioned in the last time that I recorded when I lost was the way that I recorded these vocals was I recorded 2 sets of vocals, or I recorded about 3 takes of the song on Wednesday night after working 8 hours, and I was very tired and I had no energy, and you can kind of tell in these older vocal tracks, these top 2 here, and then the bottom ones I recorded on Saturday in the morning when I was after a couple cups of coffee and I was awake, and I think it sounds a lot more energetic. So that's just something that's kind of obvious that I learned is record when you're awake, record when you have energy, or else it comes across. Here's the other track.
What happened to that other guy? What's going to happen to me? The reason I really care about that other fuck, this was all his fault. I hope he's...
So I think that helps. I've watched a lot of things about thickening vocals. One thing that I did that makes sense here to me is I made 2 vocal tracks, and I added a few effects to one, a few effects to the other, and then kind of mixed them accordingly to where they were kind of correct volumes. One thing that I think I messed up on is I used my old vocals, and I either can't sing well enough or nobody can to use 2 different vocal takes. I panned them hard left and hard right. I don't know. Maybe it sounds good, but it's one of those things that I threw in that was kind of a split-second decision, and I didn't do a lot of like A/B testing with hearing what it sounds like with them and without them. But it ends up giving a weird chorusy effect because I can't hit the notes correctly. So this, anyway, it sounds like this.
I can't feel a thing, my legs won't work as I crawl away from the car wreck. Some people in an ambulance come pick me up after half an hour.
So it's real subtle. I can barely tell. It's mostly in that first clip because it's just vocals. So what I'm getting in, I guess what I'm getting at with all of this is I don't know how to mix vocals at all. I don't understand what inserts are supposed to be on them. I'm getting there. I'm trying out things and basically figuring out, okay, that sounds a little bit better than it does without it to my ears. Another thing that I need is good monitor speakers. I don't have those right now. I'm using this headset to mix pretty much everything. And I think the headset is a pretty good flat reading of what I have, and then I have some like gaming speakers that have real high bass. They have their own EQ settings, though. I need a good set of monitor speakers, which I'm sure, afford now. I just things that I've heard are like, if you have a big room like this, you're kind of wasting money getting monitor speakers potentially because of all the bounce that you get from all the walls. So I'd have to put up sound insulating foam, I guess, to get the best out of the speakers. And honestly, I don't know that I care enough to do any of that, especially if I can get good enough at it with what I have. So going over another part of the song, there's 2 different guitar takes that I recorded. For the most part, the guitar in this song is pretty easy. The one piece that's kind of a mess here is this. I have some slides that happen here. But I'm better at playing guitar than I am at singing, so I can take, which I'm not even that good at guitar, but I can play it well enough. I can take a few takes, and they're good enough with a few mistakes here and there that aren't like, oh God. The other thing that I had trouble with this song was getting good distortions, good amp setups. This program has an awesome, Cubase has an awesome amp simulator, and there's, I don't know, 50 or 100 different amp settings that you can try, and some of them sound great right away, some of them don't. With this one, I kind of picked quickly. Here, let me play this first one, which I added EQ to, and this is one thing that I think I did pretty well with this project, was EQ'd out a lot of noise on this. So here's that guitar. Listen to how nasty this is without the EQ. So I think I mixed that correctly. And that's the one point of EQ that I'm like, yeah, I can hear a difference there. It sounds better. Here's the other guitar, which is just a much softer sound. Let's see. So that one's okay, but it has no presence. Then another song that I recorded recently was Linoleum by NoFX, and I had 2 other distortions that I used for that one, which I spent a little bit more time picking. Also, I had the track itself as a reference track, which was mixed and really helped me get to where that track sounds better. Here, I'll bring up the SoundCloud of it real quick, and you can hear that. Well, I guess I should just bring this window over. You can hear that I am pretty happy with the way that this turned out. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. That's right. You're not going to be able to hear that. I would have to actually bring up the project because of the way my sound settings are. Anyway, I'll go over that project eventually. The 2 distortions that I had were this one. So I turned those down a lot in the first part. The song changes drastically right here where the fixed lights come in, and then I pump up the volume on them. It has a very different sound here at the end. So one thing that needs is a drum fill. I got lazy and didn't put one in. I know that I could use that. The other thing is the drums just aren't great for this part. They're not punky enough. I messed around with the drums a bit, but honestly, I spent so much time on the vocals and the guitars that I just got burned out of listening to this song at all. The drums are too soft, in my opinion, though. The bass is fine. The best part of the bass is this little riff. It's got a walking bass line. Oh, it's after that. That's right. There. So I learned how to play this, but I only played it once really well, and I just copied it twice because it only plays twice in the song, and I was like, I don't want to do that again.
Have done. I'm not gonna try to make peace with any higher power. I'm gonna die alone and full of hatred for the human race.
So, yeah, that's okay. I can't play the bass super well, but well enough. And as far as mixing it in, I don't know that I have it at quite the right level. One thing that I hear a lot about in sound engineering is the idea of making sure everything has room, has a place in the mix. And this is a simple mix. It's just got vocals, guitar, and bass and drums. But I still ended up with kind of a cluttered mess, and I don't know enough about mixing to fix it perfectly. When I drop things out,
I hope his family was with him, and they're all dead too. I'm not a nice guy, I don't think.
I guess that opens it up some, but I think altogether it sounds better.
Nice things, I'm not concerned with it.
So anyway, I'm sure later I'll understand better what I'm doing, and maybe I can come back and revisit this song. I have it up on SoundCloud now. I don't know how to make these videos yet. It might be good to play the whole song at the end, but just so I can hear what it sounds like. Have another marker in case SoundCloud ever goes away. So this will be boring though. I'll do it this time.
I can't feel a thing, my legs won't work as I crawl away from the car wreck. Some people in an ambulance come pick me up after half an hour on the pavement, reflecting on my life, wondering what happened to that other guy. What's going to happen to me? The reason I really care about that other fuck, this was all his fault. I hope he's dead, or excruciating pain, missing limbs and bleeding to death. I hope his family was with him, and they're all dead too. I'm not a nice guy, I don't think nice things. I'm not concerned with anyone except myself. I don't believe in God, I only believe in people. They're mostly morons. I know I'm an asshole. I'm not gonna repent on my deathbed. I'm not gonna beg forgiveness for the things that I have done. I'm not gonna try to make peace with any higher power. I'm gonna die alone and full of hatred for the human race. Fuck all of you, your perceptions of me are weight on my head. I can't be perfect. Faced with death, I don't have any regrets. I have had all I wanted of this worthless life.
Okay, so one thing I realized in this is I should really let guitars and stuff trail out for longer when I'm playing. Another thing that I remembered while I was playing is on the drum set in Cubase I have this set up to where basically it plays like 5 different things depending on where I click for some of these, or 3. So the bass drum sounds like that. What I realized is I hate this. I should not set it up like this because usually this just controls volume on the single sample. it's kind of neat that you can put different samples in there, but it sounds way too different when you jump from one thing to another. So personally, I don't like having it set up like this. I tried it this time, and again in the No Effects song, it was way, I only used a single sample for each one of these, and I liked it a lot more. It was a lot easier to control and make it sound quiet where it needed to sound quiet and loud where it needed to sound loud. One of the main things that you'll hear is on the bell hits, there's that one, which I should use the entire time, and then there's this one, which in the mix just doesn't sound like it's hitting at all. And some of the volume levels drop low enough, and Cubase automatically picks the other sample, which is awesome. Except it sounds bad, so at least the way that I used it. So that's one thing I guess I learned here. Other things I learned, I've got to learn how to mix vocals. I already went over that. Got to learn how to mix guitars a bit better. Well, quite a bit better. I'm sure I'll have some amp settings and stuff that I stick with most of the time. There's a bunch of vocal trick videos that I've seen out there that show how to thicken up the vocals that I'll try eventually, and maybe I'll find one that's like a magic, hey, this always sounds great. The drums, I need to make sure I don't run out of energy on a song before I get them to where they're good. I need to spend another 2 hours or something filling in the drums a bit more, and I don't want to do that anymore. So what I think I should do is do one pass of the drums early to record everything else over, and then towards the end of the project, when everything else is there, go in, figure out where I need fills, and then go in and actually add them. And then what else did I learn? I guess that's it. I'm sure this is longer than it's like 20 minutes. So I also learned I've got to edit videos. So I have to go in and figure out timestamps and stuff for what I'm actually trying to keep. And hopefully this video is worth watching all the way through. I'll cut out the slow parts. And I guess that's it. Bye. I'll see you for the next song, I guess.